if you can have that urge to just try, you know, and have that curious personality of what happens if I do try? What happens if I do try this? What happens if I do go for it? You know, like, what's your worst case scenario? You're just going to end up where you are. So what do you really have to lose? You know? Now, I cannot speak for everyone on that topic, because some things we have to analyze and articulate our thought process, because some things we have to take in much more consideration that can have repercussions simply because we're being too careless. You know, that's going really deep into this topic. But what I am trying to say here is, for anyone who can have the availability and the opportunity to think about their worst case scenario and can live with that worst case scenario if it were to happen, then might as well go for it. Because what do you really have to lose? Do you get what I'm trying to say here? I hope this video wasn't confusing. I am just trying to think about more than one side. I'm trying to think about two sides of two different people. You know, because not everybody can simply just try and go for it and their worst case scenario is to end up where they are. No. For some, their worst case scenario could be losing everything, you know, or making things a lot more harder for themselves simply because they became too careless without taking much things into consideration. Okay, I wanted to mention that too, because again, there's always two different minds that can perceive things differently, you know, and I don't want this to come across the wrong person where they're like, yeah, you know, I should just try and go for it, without them really thinking about possible negative outcomes, you know, simply because they became too careless. Okay, so I want to end it with this, is if you have the availability, if you have the opportunity, or you are in a position where you can sit down and think about what is your worst case scenario if you really do try and go for it, whether that's you maybe trying a new business, or maybe that's you trying a fitness journey, or you trying to become the person you want to be. Okay, and if you can think about your worst case scenario, if you were to try, and you could live with that worst case scenario if it ever happened, then you should know your answer, you know, on what you should do next. Okay, I hope this video wasn't confusing, but again, I have to think about not so much of just people who have the opportunity and availability to just go for it. You know, some people aren't that fortunate. I'm gonna just end it there. Not everybody is that fortunate where they actually have to take into consideration their worst case scenario and not be so careless, you know. And yeah, I'm gonna just end it there. Okay, I'm a huge fan of quotes. I love quotes. If you've been following my content for a while, you know I like to end my videos with a quote. At least I try to. I'm gonna end it with this quote. I never come prepared for these videos. I like to be authentic, and I have no script for my videos. I just like to just talk. Like, to me, I just feel like it's better. And it's going to help me in the long term. Okay? I'm going to end it with a quote. Old ways won't open new doors. Think about that. Anyhow, I love you. I appreciate you. And remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.